I had just hit the 2-year mark with Ashley. We had built something beautiful together, a relationship where mutual respect was the foundation for our love. But her friends had always treated me like I was beneath them, throwing subtle jabs that grew more overt with time. The final straw came at her birthday party, when they humiliated me in front of everyone. When I confronted Ashley, her response cut deeper than anything. "If you do not like my friends, that is your problem." She was right. So I solved my problem in a way that made those friends never speak to her again. Before I tell you how I exposed their secret group chat, drop a comment letting me know where you are watching from, and hit that subscribe button if you have ever had to deal with toxic friends in your relationship. I met Ashley when I was 28. As a software engineer, I spent most of my days focused on logic and problem solving. My naturally calm demeanor complemented her vibrant personality perfectly. Ashley was 26, a marketing specialist whose energy could light up any room. We first crossed paths at a tech conference in Seattle. I was presenting a new debugging tool our company had developed, and she was handling the event marketing. "Your presentation saved me from death by PowerPoint today," she told me afterward, her smile genuine, as she handed me her business card. "Most tech guys put me to sleep, but you actually made code sound interesting." That small interaction sparked something. After 3 coffee dates and 1 dinner, we were inseparable. The first 18 months were everything I had ever hoped for in a relationship. We traveled to California wine country, hiked through the Grand Canyon, and even braved a winter weekend in Minnesota, where I introduced her to my parents. Eventually, we found a cozy apartment overlooking a small park and moved in together, merging our lives with surprising ease. "I think you are the first guy I have dated who actually gets me," Ashley would say, curled against me on our balcony as we watched the sunset. Everything seemed perfect until her college friends started becoming more prominent in our lives. There were 4 of them: Jessica Taylor, Amanda, and Lauren. They had been inseparable since their sophomore year at UCLA. Jessica was the unofficial leader, always planning their outings and directing the conversation. Taylor was the sharpest-tongued, quick, with judgments and criticisms disguised as jokes. Amanda thrived on gossip, collecting rumors and secrets like treasures. Lauren was the quiet one, rarely initiating conflict, but supporting the others with passive-aggressive comments when needed. At first, our meetings were pleasant enough. They invited us to brunches, happy hours, and weekend barbecues. They asked polite questions about my work and nodded with feigned interest at my answers. But I noticed how they would pull Ashley aside, frequently whispering and giggling while glancing in my direction. "They are just being protective," Ashley would assure me. "They want to make sure I am with someone who deserves me." The first real warning signs appeared about 6 months into our relationship. The comments from her friends became more pointed, less disguised as friendly banter. "So Bryce still playing with computers all day?" Jessica asked during a dinner party, her voice dripping with condescension. "It must be nice to have such a simple job." Another time, Taylor examined my outfit before a group outing and said, "Wow, engineers really do not care about fashion, do they?" The others laughed as though she had said something incredibly witty. These interactions grew more frequent. I would catch them whispering when I entered a room, their conversations abruptly shifting. Ashley's phone would constantly buzz with messages from their group chat, interrupting our dates and quiet evenings together. Increasingly, our plans would change last minute because the girls wanted to try this new place or Jessica had tickets to an event. I noticed Ashley beginning to prioritize their opinions over our relationship. When we were considering a vacation to Thailand, her excitement dimmed after a lunch with her friends. "Taylor says Thailand is overrated and full of tourists now," she told me that evening. "Maybe we should think about somewhere else." Our dream trip was eventually replaced by a weekend in San Diego, where coincidentally, Amanda had a timeshare. The pattern continued, with tensions escalating over time. I still remember the first major incident clearly. We were having dinner with her friends at an upscale restaurant downtown, celebrating Taylor's promotion. The conversation somehow turned to embarrassing college stories. Remember when Bryce said he only dated one girl before Ashley? Jessica smirked, swirling her wine. I bet she was imaginary. No offense, but you seem like you would have been that awkward computer nerd in high school. Everyone laughed, including Ashley, who squeezed my hand under the table as if that made it okay. I smiled tightly and changed the subject, but the damage was done. They had publicly mocked something I had shared privately with Ashley, showing me that not only did she discuss our intimate conversations with them, but they felt entitled to use that information against me. The second major incident happened during a weekend trip to Lake Tahoe. Jessica had access to her parents' cabin, and the whole group was invited. I had taken time off work specifically for this trip, looking forward to some skiing and relaxation. From the moment we arrived, I was systematically excluded. "We need a girls' night," Jessica announced our first evening there. "Bryce, you would not mind hanging out alone tonight, right?" That girls' night extended to most of the weekend. They planned activities without consulting me, left before I was ready in the mornings, and spoke in shared references and inside jokes. When I tried to join conversations, they would exchange glances or subtly shift to topics that excluded me. "They are just catching up," Ashley defended them when I finally expressed my frustration. "We do not get weekends like this often." The third and most painful incident was on my birthday. I had planned a quiet celebration, just Ashley and me, at our favorite restaurant. The reservation was made a month in advance for this special occasion. 2 hours before we were supposed to leave, Ashley approached me with an apologetic look I had come to recognize. "The girls got last-minute tickets to that new musical downtown," she said, not quite meeting my eyes. "They really want me to go with them. Tonight, on my birthday." I could not hide my disappointment. "We can celebrate tomorrow instead." "Right." Jessica said these tickets were impossible to get. They only thought of me because they knew how much I wanted to see it. I spent my birthday alone, ordering takeout and watching a movie I had been saving to enjoy with Ashley. When she came home later that night, giddy from the show and drinks afterward, I tried to talk to her about how hurt I felt. "You are making too big a deal out of this," she said dismissively. "It is just a day. We will do something special tomorrow." Each time I tried to discuss how her friends treated me, Ashley would become defensive. "You are being too sensitive. That is just Taylor's sense of humor. You need to try harder to get to know them." I felt increasingly isolated within my own relationship. The woman I loved could not or would not see how her friends undermined me, and by extension us. I tried everything to fit in with them. I offered to host dinners, suggested group activities, and made efforts to find common interests. Nothing worked. To them, I would always be an outsider, someone they had to tolerate but never accept. The internal conflict was becoming unbearable. I loved Ashley deeply, but my self-respect was eroding with every dismissive comment, every inside joke at my expense, every time Ashley chose them over me. I started questioning whether I was the problem. Maybe I was too sensitive. Maybe I should try harder. All these tensions culminated at Ashley's 27th birthday party. She had rented a private room at an exclusive rooftop bar downtown. About 30 people were there, a mix of coworkers, friends, and a few of my friends who knew Ashley well. The room was beautifully decorated with soft lighting, flowers, and photographs of Ashley throughout the years, many including her 4 closest friends. I had arrived early to help set up, making sure everything was perfect for her special night. When Ashley arrived with Jessica, Taylor, Amanda, and Lauren, they barely acknowledged my efforts. "The lighting is all wrong," Jessica immediately complained, adjusting the settings I had carefully arranged. "Could you not have gotten better pictures?" Taylor asked, pointing to the photo display I had spent hours creating. Throughout the night, they formed a protective circle around Ashley, controlling who got to speak with her and for how long. When I tried to join my girlfriend, there was always a reason why she needed to step away, usually orchestrated by Jessica or Taylor. The breaking point came during the toasts. I had prepared a heartfelt speech about what Ashley meant to me. After a couple of Ashley's coworkers shared brief stories, I stood up to take my turn. Before I could begin, Jessica grabbed the microphone. As Ashley's oldest and dearest friend, she started emphasizing the time they had known each other. I think I should go next. Her toast was filled with inside jokes and stories that excluded me entirely. When she finished, Taylor immediately took the microphone, effectively blocking my opportunity to speak. "Remember that loser she dated before?" Bryce Taylor said loudly, clearly drunk. "At least this one has a real job, even if it is just playing with computers all day." The room grew uncomfortable as they continued making thinly veiled comments about my career, my clothes, even the gift I had given Ashley, which they had somehow already seen and deemed predictable. When they finally finished, the moment for toasts had passed as the restaurant staff brought out the cake. Ashley had witnessed the entire exchange and said nothing. After the cake was served, I pulled her aside to a quiet corner. "Do you see what just happened?" I asked, struggling to keep my voice steady. "They publicly humiliated me at your birthday and you just stood there." Ashley rolled her eyes slightly. "They were just having fun. Why do you always have to make everything about you? This is not about me. It is about respect. Your friends consistently disrespect me, and you allow it." She glanced over at her friends who were watching us closely from across the room. "Look, they are my oldest friends. If you do not like my friends, that is your problem." Those words hit me like a physical blow. I looked at Ashley, this woman I had loved and respected for 2 years, and realized she would never give me the same respect in return. "You are right," I said quietly. "It is my problem." I left the party shortly after, driving home alone, while Ashley continued celebrating with her friends. That night marked the beginning of the end, but not in the way either of us could have anticipated. 3 days after the disastrous birthday party, I was still processing what had happened. Ashley and I had barely spoken, maintaining a cold politeness when we crossed paths in our apartment. She had gone to work earlier that morning, leaving me alone with my thoughts. Around noon, I heard the distinctive buzz of a phone vibrating against our coffee table. Ashley had forgotten her phone at home, something she never did. Normally, I would have ignored it, respecting her privacy. But the screen lit up repeatedly with notifications from the group chat she had with her 4 friends. What caught my eye was my name appearing in the preview of the messages. I hesitated, my finger hovering over the phone. This was an invasion of privacy, something I had always respected in our relationship. But after 2 years of gaslighting and dismissal, I needed to know if I was truly the problem or if my instincts had been right all along. I unlocked her phone. Ashley had never hidden her passcode from me, a small gesture of trust that now filled me with guilt. But that guilt quickly transformed into shock as I opened the group chat titled Core 4 plus Ash. The messages went back months, thousands of them. I scrolled through conversation after conversation, where I was the main topic. They called me controlling, boring, a downgrade from her ex. Jessica regularly suggested that Ashley could do so much better. Taylor mocked everything from my clothing choices to my career with vicious precision. "Just give Bryce the classic working late excuse and come to the party," read one message from Jessica from a few weeks back. "He will believe anything you tell him. Did you see his face when we changed the dinner reservation to that vegan place? He looked like a sad puppy." Taylor had written after a group dinner where they had suddenly changed our plans, claiming the original restaurant had lost our pride. Reservation. But what truly stunned me were the screenshots. They had been taking screenshots of my social media posts, text messages Ashley had shared with them, even photos of me that Ashley had taken without my knowledge, all for the purpose of mockery in their private discussions. The most painful discovery came as I continued reading. Jessica's feelings for Ashley went far beyond friendship. There were messages where she openly talked about wanting Ashley to break up with me, how they would be perfect together, and detailed fantasies about what would happen when I was finally out of the picture. "Just dump the tech nerd already." Jessica had written just 2 days before the birthday party. "You know you are too good for him." Ashley's responses were what broke my heart. Sometimes she defended me. "Bryce is actually really sweet, guys, give him a chance." Other times she participated in their mockery. "Lol, yes, he is obsessed with that stupid sci-fi show. It is so boring, but I pretend to watch it with him. Worst of all were the messages planning deliberate humiliation. The birthday party had not been a spontaneous series of insults, but a coordinated effort. They had planned exactly how to prevent me from giving my toast, what embarrassing comments to make, and how to isolate me from Ashley throughout the event. I sat there for what felt like hours, my hands shaking as I scrolled through month after month of betrayal. The woman I loved had been participating in a systematic campaign to undermine me, led by a friend who wanted to take my place in her life. The pain was overwhelming. I had built my life around someone who could smile to my face while laughing at me behind my back. Every insecurity I had ever felt in our relationship had been justified. I was not too sensitive. I had not been imagining things. I needed perspective, so I called the one person I could truly trust. Mike had been my best friend since college, and unlike Ashley's friends, he had always supported our relationship. They have been doing what Mike's disbelief echoed my own when I explained what I had discovered. Planning ways to embarrass me, making fun of everything I do, and Jessica apparently wants Ashley for herself. I summarized, still numb from the revelation. And Ashley knows about all this. She is part of it. Sometimes she defends me, but mostly she just goes along with it. She has been sharing private conversations, taking pictures of me without my knowledge, everything. Mike was silent for a moment. Bryce, you know what you have to do, right? This is not just disrespect. This is emotional abuse. From all of them, including Ashley. He was right, of course. I had spent 2 years trying to earn the respect of people who had decided from the beginning that I did not deserve it. I had compromised my own dignity, trying to make Ashley happy, while she had compromised our relationship to please her friends. "What are you going to do?" Mike finally asked. She said it was my problem. I replied, a plan already forming in my mind. So I am going to solve it. After ending the call with Mike, I returned to the group chat with newfound purpose. I began to screenshot everything, not just the messages about me, but all of it. As I dug deeper into their history, I discovered that their toxic behavior extended far beyond their treatment of me. They had a running thread mocking other friends behind their backs. Jessica had shared confidential information about clients from her PR firm, complete with unprofessional and cruel assessments of their appearances and personalities. Taylor regularly boasted about cheating on her boyfriend, with a coworker sharing explicit details with the group. Amanda had screenshots of private social media accounts she had gained access to through fake profiles, using the information to spread gossip. Lauren, the quietest one in person, was surprisingly vicious in text, suggesting ways to subtly undermine people they claimed were their friends. This was not just about me anymore. These women had built their friendship on cruelty and betrayal with Ashley as their newest recruit. My plan was not about revenge. It was about truth, about removing the masks they wore so skillfully in public. I created a folder of screenshots, organized by person and type of betrayal. Jessica's workplace misconduct, Taylor's infidelity, Amanda's stalking behavior, Lauren's two-faced suggestions, and finally the messages about me, showing exactly what Ashley had allowed her friends to say and do. My hands were steady now. For the first time in months, I felt clarity. This was not about punishing Ashley or her friends. It was about standing up for myself and showing Ashley exactly who she had chosen over me. I waited until Ashley came home that evening to execute my plan. She walked in looking tired, barely acknowledging me as she set down her bag. "You forgot your phone this morning," I said, calmly placing it on the coffee table between us. "Oh, thanks. I was looking for it everywhere." She reached for it, but I placed my hand over hers. "Before you take it, we need to talk about what I found today." Her expression shifted immediately, defensive walls rising. "You went through my phone." "That is a complete invasion of privacy, Bryce." "Yes, it was," I admitted, "and I would normally never do that. But I saw my name in the notifications from your group chat, and after what happened at your birthday party, I needed to know the truth." Her face paled. "What exactly did you see? Everything, Ashley? The way they talk about me?" The way you talk about me when I am not around. The screenshots. The planning to humiliate me, Jessica's feelings for you. All of it. She sat down heavily, her defenses crumbling. It is not what it looks like. They just joke around a lot. I do not actually think those things about you. But you let them say those things. You participated. You chose their respect over mine repeatedly. I kept my voice level despite the anger and hurt churning inside me. You told me it was my problem if I did not like your friends. Well, I solved my problem. What do you mean? Fear crept into her voice. I showed her my phone open to the screenshots I had taken. I found more than just comments about me. I found evidence of Jessica sharing confidential client information, Taylor cheating on Ryan and bragging about it, Amanda stalking people online, all the nasty things you five say about people you claim to care about. Ashley's eyes widened with each revelation. What are you going to do with those? I already did it, I said quietly. I sent them to your group chat about an hour ago. Everyone can see exactly who everyone else really is now. Her phone began to buzz incessantly as she grabbed it, her hands shaking as she unlocked it and saw what I had done. The group chat was exploding with messages, accusations flying between the once inseparable friends. Why would you do this? Ashley whispered, tears forming in her eyes. You said it was my problem. So I solved it, I repeated. I did not add any commentary. I just shared the truth that each of you has been hiding from the others. Ashley scrolled through her phone, frantically watching in real time as her friendship circle imploded. Jessica was accusing Taylor of betraying her trust. Taylor was threatening to tell Ryan about Amanda's old crush on him. Amanda was furious that Lauren had been secretly criticizing her to the others. And all of them were turning on Ashley for not warning them that her controlling boyfriend had access to their conversations. They will never forgive me for this, Ashley said, her voice breaking. Probably not, I agreed. But ask yourself this. Are these really the kind of friends worth keeping? People who would turn on you this quickly, who would treat someone you claim to love with such disrespect, who would secretly want to break up your relationship for their own benefit. Ashley's phone continued to buzz with notifications, but she set it down, finally looking at me directly. I never meant for any of this to happen. I just wanted them to like me, to keep liking me. And what about me? Did my feelings matter at all? She had no answer for that. In the days that followed, the full impact of my action became clear. Jessica was placed on probation at work after a client found out she had shared their information. Taylor's boyfriend broke up with her publicly after confirming her infidelity with the very coworker she had been seeing. Amanda and Lauren retreated from social media entirely as mutual friends discovered what they had been saying behind their backs. As for Ashley, she became persona non grata among the group. They unanimously decided that she was responsible for the leak regardless of the circumstances. Their years of friendship evaporated overnight, replaced by bitter accusations and blame. A week after my revelation, Ashley and I had our final conversation. They all hate me now, she said, sitting across from me at our kitchen table, her eyes red from crying. Jessica is telling everyone I betrayed them intentionally. No one will even talk to me. I am sorry it turned out this way, I said, and I meant it. Despite everything, I had never wanted to hurt Ashley. But I am not sorry I stood up for myself. You could have just broken up with me, she argued. You did not have to destroy my friendships too. Your friendships were already broken, Ashley. They were built on making others feel small so you could feel big. That was never going to last. She was quiet for a long moment. I should have stood up for you, she finally admitted. I was so afraid of losing them that I lost sight of what really mattered. Yes, you should have. There was no satisfaction in her admission, only a deep sadness for what could have been. Can we fix this? Can we start over? The hope in her voice was painful to hear. I shook my head slowly. I do not think so. Trust is like a mirror, Ashley. Once it is broken, you can never look at it the same way again. We agreed to end our lease early, Ashley moved in with her sister temporarily while I found a smaller apartment closer to my office. We divided our possessions with minimal conflict, both of us too exhausted emotionally to fight over material things. The months that followed were difficult but healing. I focused on rebuilding my sense of self-worth, reconnecting with friends I had neglected during my relationship with Ashley, and pursuing interests I had set aside to accommodate her friends' preferences. Mike and a few other close friends provided the support system I needed. I threw myself into a challenging project at work, earning a promotion that had seemed out of reach when I was constantly distracted by relationship drama. I started rock climbing again, a hobby I had loved but abandoned, because Jessica once called it a sport for people with something to prove. 6 months after our breakup, I received an email from Ashley. She had moved to Portland for a fresh start and a new job opportunity. She had made new friends, she wrote, but was much more careful about the kind of people she allowed into her inner circle. I learned a hard lesson about friendship and respect, her email concluded. I am sorry I did not value yours when I had the chance. I hope you are doing well, Bryce. You deserved better than what I gave you. I wished her well, but did not suggest rekindling any kind of relationship. Some lessons change you permanently, and I had learned to value myself too much to go backward. Looking back now, I realize that Ashley's callous words at her birthday party, "If you do not like my friends, that is your problem," were actually a gift. They freed me to take action to stand up for myself, instead of continuing to seek approval from people who had decided I was unworthy from the start. Sometimes solving your own problem means having the courage to stand up for yourself, even when the person you love tells you not to. The right people will respect your boundaries, and the wrong ones will show themselves out. Have you ever had to stand up to someone who disrespected you, even when it was difficult? Let me know in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please hit the like button and subscribe to hear more real-life experiences. Share this video with someone who might need to be reminded that they deserve respect in all their relationships. Thank you for listening to my story. And remember, your self-respect is not negotiable.